Welcome back to another video. And today, man, we're gonna get into this Ebro-NICKI Minaj interview that they did like a couple of weeks ago, and they finally dropped that thing today. Let's get into it.
You've made some pop records in the past.
Oh my God, what is it with this word? Do you tell men that they've made pop records?
Wait, that's how this jump start off. The fuck?
Absolutely.
Who? What's the last man you told you've made pop records?
Drake.
When?
Don't play with me.
Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Ebro Show, and we are so honored to have a very, very special friend of mine. Somebody I consider a friend in the game. I don't get to see her a lot because she's living her life and being amazing.
By the way,
Her name is Nicki Minaj.
she looks gorgeous.
How are you, Ibrahim?
We haven't sat down in years,
Ibrahim.
but it's been 5 years since the last album.
That's right.
But so much great things have happened for you in that 5 years outside of music. And I want to try to hear from you on those things,
Okay.
if possible. A lot of that you gave us in the album, too. You let us in.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to start there because the way the album starts, Pink Friday 2, you start with a very emotional song. I feel like I heard you speaking to your son in that song and really sharing some things that you want him to absorb later on. Can you give us more insight on that?
No, you know what? Okay. The first verse, and you're talking about Are You Going Already? The first one, right?
First one.
The first verse is me speaking to my father. My father just passed. So right after I had the baby, and it was during...
Hold on. So she just dropped the lyrics to that. And what I read and what I hear is two different things. But I see that she said, the phone, the pacing, the waiting, all that. But I didn't know she said he passed already. I didn't know what that shit said until I read the lyrics.
Corona, nobody knew what was going on, and so I didn't want to let nannies in my home to be leaving, and I didn't want to let anyone living in my home. And because with the baby, it was like we didn't know what was happening at that time. We had to protect the baby from everything and everyone. So one day, I was rocking the baby in the rocking chair in his room, and I do not normally even have the phone on me when I'm rocking him because at that time I was mad strict, like, oh, that baby's just gonna get in my child. Don't put the phone on my child. Like I was. But anyway, that day, as I'm rocking him, the phone rings. I look down, see my phone. I see it's my father. I normally would not have picked up. I promise you. I would have said, okay, because I don't like to be on the phone with the baby there, and I'm putting him to sleep. I would have called him back. But anyway, something said pick up the phone. And I picked up. He was very happy, and he was like, baby, I could come on Monday, because he had been waiting to be able to come to Cali to help me. And I kept on saying, come on out, like just, like whatever. So he wasn't really happy. But I knew that when he came to be with us, we were going to be happy. Like he is an amazing, great Trinidadian chef and just a great person, like one of those party people, like whatever, lives up the whole house. So anyway, that was Friday. He said he wanted to come on Monday, and we were so happy. I was like, yes, we're going to get help. And then we went to bed, and sometime late while we were all asleep, the phone rang, and it was my mother telling me that my father was in an accident and that she didn't know what was going to happen and she would call me back. And then everything started spinning, like literally, because now also I just had my baby. So I'm already, hypersensitive, with everything.
Hold on. Not to cut the thing, but that's how, I lost my brother. He long story short, he knew something was gonna happen to him. So he wanted to get dressed, party, everybody party with him. He bought two outfits. One to party in, one to get buried in. But anyway, he called that night, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought that he was coming in the house. But my mom and then we was kind of beefing. So, he called. I didn't answer. My mom's answered, but I didn't hear that he was coming in the house. So, I ain't think nothing of it. I didn't think, I say, oh, he ain't coming, he just wanted something. And surely the next day, my man was gone, man. But I know how that shit feel. And I never, got to us patch that little thing up. But anyway, let's get back to it.
To get that call, and it's the exact replica of a call. No lie. And I'm not going to get too into that either. I had like about 4 or 5 dreams about it, but it was the exact replica of one particular dream I had about this. But the person was saying, such, your mom, we're going to call you back and let you know how it went. But this happened, this call now is with my father. And I'm like, wait a minute, I dreamt this. But I remembered in the
Deja
dream,
vu.
I didn't get the call back. I didn't remember how it ended. So I opened the album with saying, you never got to meet Papa. He's sweet proper. He keep Mama on my toes. So I call my son Papa Bear. So I'm telling my father, you never got to meet Papa. And then I began to explain the time from my mother first calling me, telling me he was in an accident, to her calling me, telling me that he didn't make it. So I'm like, the waiting, the pacing, the raven, all this stuff. And then at the end I'm like, I just believed you were making a memory in the making. Call me, won't you call me? Won't you? Are you gone already?
Shit, that sounds
Because
so
I
good.
couldn't believe so fast from accident gone.
And y'all was just on the phone.
A few hours earlier, he was the happiest that I had heard him in a long time. So I'm now starting the second verse saying, Dear Onika, don't stress, you're blessed. Today is 12/3/23, which is the actual date I wrote that second verse because I was too emotional to even listen to the freaking first verse to write it. So it's that for months. And then when I start saying, set me free, I'm talking as the inner child. But the last line is what confused a lot of people because I said, you've already made your peace with me. One day you have to forgive mommy. But she knows you know too much already. No. I'm talking about my own mother. So the inner child is like, don't come over here telling you, well, we good. We made peace. But you still have to forgive mommy. And then I tell her, but you know, she knows, you know too much already. Because I remember as a kid, I knew way too much. I saw way too much. And then what happens is, I don't know what your relationship is like with your parents, Ebro. But a lot of times what happens is that we grow up in a situation where our parents don't take accountability and they don't realize that that's not okay. Because you
A
can't
lot of
actually
parents don't take
have a healthy
accountability.
relationship without accountability. There's no relationship.
A lot of parents don't take accountability. They always try to say, but because no, nah. Just take that accountability and leave. Stop trying to justify shit. That's what I was looking for. They try to justify instead of just taking accountability for the part you played in it. That's it.
On earth that works without accountability. So that's what that's about.
I love it.
Thank you.
Would you say that's one of your more personal, emotional records that you've ever made?
Yes.
How scary was that for you to share with us?
So scary. I think a lot, to be honest, I always feel like I have to give my fans, my core fans, an update when I come back out with an album. And I think the last two took a lot longer because of the events that took place between the albums. And every time I'm about to put out an album, I have to reconcile in my head the gain, the pros and the cons of sharing this and why am I sharing this and how is it gonna make me feel? Am I gonna be able to listen to
That
this
light looking
for the
good
rest
as
of my
shit.
life?
Just
But
the
I always
glow on
feel
her.
I have to
Damn.
start somehow by telling them what has been going on so that they have a perspective because they don't. A lot of times they're just assuming what they think. I just sit in a house all day and just like have, I don't know, maids and nannies and butlers and shit. You understand? Most people think that. They don't think of me as a human being. And so with my fans, because I have a very different relationship with them and they really do know me, I give them an update. And then they get to be like, oh, okay, well, they can put some things together.
You have I mean, one of the most active, notorious, engaged fan bases in the
Not
history
notorious.
of fandom, probably, right? But as you just articulated, you guys have a deep relationship. You care for them; they care for you. Um, you also have always talked to me about caring for hip hop, right? Like you care to be dope. You care to take care of hip hop. You care to contribute to this culture that we've all grown up with and loved so much and provided us jobs
exactly.
and all
Put
type of
food
shit,
on the table for our
all that
children.
shit,
Yes.
right? And you fought to be dope, right? As well as, like you said, expand your brand beyond just being a rapper, but being an icon and being seen in fashion and being all of the things. Is this a conscious effort, or is this just, are we always just getting Nicki? Like, is this work, or is this just?
It's Nick. You just get Nicki when you hear the music. The other stuff is work, and some of it is play. I mean, let's face it. This is my fucking job. I have to have some sort of fun. Like, if it means, making fun of these hoes and like, why the fuck not?
Bitches, they're your sons.
Yes, every chance I have. So, I mean, the thing is, I realized though, it's like a movie. They've made me the bad guy, so I've welcomed the challenge. You know why?
You said everybody need a bad guy.
It's because I know I can accept that challenge. None of them can. None of them would be able to do it. So they've made me the bad guy.
She always look high as fuck
in this movie that we're in.
But you know you're loved, right? Even if you're the bad, you know you're appreciated and loved. Do you know that?
By my fans, absolutely, yeah.
But just by hip hop in general, do you think that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I have never met a person that has fixed their lips to say Nicki's not dope.
Okay.
So like that never, like I've never, like people might be like, I don't personally listen to her albums, but they know skill wise. And is that
that's a good way to look at it
for you as someone who came up in this game and fought to have respect right next to the dudes, right? The only woman that's ever been on a record with Hov and Ye and M and fucking Kerry, right? Does that's what matters to you? I think that's what matters. Has always mattered to you.
Always.
The most.
Always has. Always has mattered to me that whether you knew how I look, whether you knew where I was from, whether you knew if I was a male, female, whatever, all that mattered to me was that are they liking my raps? And somewhere along the line that shifted. And it's everyone's fault. As a whole, as our culture, like why would it's insane to go backwards. And I'm keeping it 1,000. Like, because when I think about the people who inspired me, I can still pull from them right now. That's why Biggie, rest in peace, has like he seems to always make his way on my projects, and I didn't even realize that. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God I had those kinds of people that right now I can still pull inspiration from them when I don't have anything to pull from. Whether it's Biggie, whether it's Jay, whether it's Foxy, whether it's Wayne, whether it's Lauryn Hill, because they were so
saying the
great
same people
that
every
I
time.
don't care about any of Biggie Smalls' videos or Lauryn Hill's videos. I care about the music. When I was riding on the train to school, I had my CD player and my headphones. I didn't give a shit about what any of them looked like. And it's just, it kind of has become a little, whatever. But
game change.
It's changed. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with change. There's nothing wrong with change. As long as, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree with it. It's one opinion. Um, I think as long as people who are supposed to keep shit real, then the circle of life keeps going. But what happened was, somewhere along the line, motherfuckers stopped doing that. Hyping up whackness, hyping up weakness, hyping up whack shit, male and female. And that's what happened. And then when I speak on it, I look like, no. Y'all just don't want to hear the truth because y'all know y'all don't really belong. Because a rapper that belong rises to the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like I was having so much writer's block and dealing with being a mom and losing my father and losing a couple other people that were really close to me. But when Drake sent me Seeing Green, even though I went down in my studio 3 different times, I got it done. I pushed myself to be better. I was mad at myself for being like, I'm like, am I late? Like, what is wrong? Like, what's happening? But I know one thing. I knew I was going to send him back a motherfucking verse. He was going to motherfucking love. That's what it is. Sacrifice
It's
too.
her
About
eye
like
cut
it's
right
your
here. Oh,
passion.
yeah,
The
that's
fucking
the
best
light.
basketball player in the world, the best boxer in the world. They sacrifice. Why? Because they want to be the best. So why is it in music there's no trade anymore?
Well, it's always like this world we exist in. I've dealt with it for 30 years in this game where it's like, oh, that's what the people are saying they like now? All right. So, boom, you play it for them.
Mm-hmm.
You're always constantly fighting like, yo, here's that real, though. Y'all need to love this real. Here go
Really?
this real.
Really?
Here go this real.
Really?
Yeah.
You personally be fighting for this real? The real?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Because I know you are a fan of rap, like you know what I'm saying. So
I am a fan of rap, but I'm also a fan of, you know, um, great songs in general.
oh yeah, no, I ain't gonna no, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Now
Because there's definitely people who are not great rappers. They can land on a good song.
and ain't nothing wrong with that.
They can land on a good song.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I want to make that very, very clear. Making a song is a very difficult thing to do consistently, and making hits consistent, that's a very difficult thing to do. So I would never downplay that.
Well, and your ability to do all of it is why I think this album, and if people haven't got to it yet in their own brain, I think they're there. That you are hands down the most consistent woman we've ever seen in rap, and you've taken it farther and been delivered. This album, I'm serious. We just watched Beyonce work that Renaissance album for a year and a half. That joint was out. Then she went on tour, was still on tour, was a year old. Just now put out the movie We 18 months from, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this Pink Friday 2 is.
Thank you.
This is that level.
Thank you.
But on the song, making songs and still barring it up on the songs, how do you, beyond just pushing yourself, is it all you all the time? Because I've seen you work where it's just beat and you're locked in at that laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to use the laptop.
Right? For days on end trying to get it right. Is that still the mode of operation where it's just you and that laptop? Or you
I don't use the laptop no more. And I stopped. Well, I don't think I used to do this at that time when I was with the laptop. I started doing more just laying on reference to get the melody and my voice and all that other stuff down first, because I have a lot of different things.
Voice changes,
Yeah.
inflections, like where you want to put certain
right.
shit.
So I started doing that first now. So mostly it's me and my engineer Juice. He's been my engineer. He actually he engineered Super Bass because he was working with S15 at the time, and then like a year or two later, he became my engineer. He's been my engineer since. He's amazing. I love him. But it's usually just me and him in the studio. Well, do you know the person Tate Probang on the song with Lil Wayne, R&B? He's signed to my label, and
he's super talented.
Very, very talented. And in fact, he brought that song to me. So when that song came, that hook was already on it.
I'm talking about R&B.
Yes, he had a hook and a verse on it, and I'm like, oh, I love this. There have been key people, I think, new to this album. that I haven't worked with like that before. And Tate is the person that also he had sent me Red Movie. However, listen to when the magic really shifted. Is when I got back to the drawing board of just getting the beat. I don't want to hear your chorus. I don't want to hear you rapping on anything you send me. In fact, a couple years ago, I stopped even listening to things that people would send me with them rapping on it, because I'm like, are you auditioning for a feature, or are you sending something for my album, a beat, a hook? You understand?
Right.
And then they would be paying so much attention to their rap, there would be no hook, so there would be no song. Right. So I had to explain to certain people that would want to work with me, like, hook, where's the hook? Okay, bye. But what I went back to is just going back to the beat and making up whatever I wanted to make. On Pink Friday, I always say this, on Pink Friday, I did it on them hook. I made up Moment for Life hook. I was getting the beats and just vibing out and deciding what I want the song to be about. One more thing, ATL Jacob, at the last couple months, when I thought my album was about to be like done, walks into the studio one day, and it changed every fucking thing.
Because he gave you Fuck the Club up.
Him coming to the studio and me being able to hear these amazing musical beats with these drums, it tapped me back into me, where I was getting those beats and just making up. I wish that I could have this moment for life. It wasn't like I'm trying to make a hit. Oh, can somebody help send me a hit? Can somebody send me this? No.
Just come with that fire.
It's just coming from my heart.
Right. So you got Drake on your album. There was like talk that you were supposed to be on For All the Dogs, and then people were disappointed.
Yeah.
What was supposed to happen versus, or was just all that just internet shit?
Well, he told the fans at his tour that I was gonna be on his album.
Right.
And actually, the song he was talking about was Needle. But he ended up feeling like sonically it didn't match For All the Dogs. And I, from day one, felt like it matched Pink Friday too.
Let me get that, bro.
But even before that, so long ago, like I remember joking with Juice, and I think Z-Biggs, my homeboys, I was like, yo, maybe, you know what? You never know. Maybe something happens and it'll get to be on my album. And this was probably almost a year ago. I first heard that song in Trinidad, when I was in Trinidad for Carnival. So that was in February. And as soon as I heard it, like I played it like Glam, we were there doing everything, so they heard it too. Everybody loved it, and I wanted it for my album. Yeah. So it was just God's timing. He asked me, did I want it for my album? I was like, absolutely. So the fans were mad, thinking that.
I think they just wanted you. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I think it was more along the lines of like, where's our girl?
Because he didn't tell them, that there was a change, and I didn't either. But yeah, I mean, you know what? It worked out for the best. He did also send me another song, but I wanted our next song to be just Dricky, me and him. And that is what Needle is. And it just makes, like, Needle is just the perfect Drake and Nicki song.
No, it's that.
Thank you.
It's a bop, for sure. Everybody's going crazy.
I don't like it.
Now, the way, what's the line you say? Another year, another Vince Lombardi. I was like, oh, she cooking.
Yeah.
And the way you dance on that track, and, shout to, all the Jersey kids is like, yo, Jersey Club, they open. They are super open. I would love to hear from you about this tour.
Okay.
Right? Because you haven't been out on tour in
a while, a long time. Over 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 5 years.
And this is worldwide. I mean, you've given us, I think, domestic dates so far, right?
Domestic and Europe.
There's some Europe in there.
Yeah, some Europe in there so far.
Anything for South America? Australia, Japan.
Oh, we always end up going to Australia. Normally end up going to Japan as well. Well, I went to Japan my first go around. I loved Japan.
Japan's
like, oh my God.
incredible.
But yes, we would like this time to expand. But I do want to definitely do South America because they always hit me up.
And you got some big Latin records too.
The Karol G song was huge.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Shout out to Karol G, yes.
Working with J. Cole.
Yes.
You guys are, is this the second?
Fire
First
song.
time.
First, no, it's first.
Yes.
Fire song.
How did that come together? I'd love to hear that story.
Well, let me calm down. Okay, so as soon as I heard the beats, it was towards, like I said, the end of the album when ATL Jacob was bringing in these things, and I was kind of like just making up hooks and stuff from scratch. And so it started getting more personal then. And I had this very personal verse on there. We thought about him. J. Cole is somebody that my fans have been asking me to work with for 10 years. And, you know, he and I think, are both probably antisocial. So, you know, the chances of running into either one of us are slim. And so we just never had like a communication anyway. So, but this time, because he had been active, he just started coming out. Like I could tell, oh, he in work mode. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of features right now.
Yeah, and doing and just you know really shining.
Yeah, he
and
on a
having
feature
this
tour.
flow. And I was like, you know what? Let's hit him up and see. And he came to the studio in Mouth. And I said, I want to play your song. And on one condition. And he said, what? I said, you have to listen in the headphones first before the big speakers. And he said, okay. I put my headphones.
Hold
next to
on.
him.
I seen a joint that she wrote on Twitter, on X, whatever, and she was like, they sat and talked for like 2 hours. And when he sent her that joint back, so I'm thinking what his verse was, that he was just trying to tell Kenny to, calm down. And that's the thing. A lot of men can't deal with a person like Nicki, because you see, I guess, how Meek was, and everybody keep talking about Safari. Meek was that person too. That he probably try to act like he was bigger and better than her, and try to make her feel insecure about herself because he didn't want her to, but she was always bigger than that man. And Safari just took, you know, her shine because he was the backup dancer, and he thought he was bigger than her. I don't know. That's my thought.
And he was just like bopping, bopping. Like, you know, I could tell he was feeling it. And he was like, this is really personal. I almost feel like I shouldn't be hearing it. And I said, oh, I understand. It's okay. He was like, no, that's dope. Like, I love that. And I was like, oh, okay. In my head, I was like, oh my God, it's, but I was very busy and he was very busy. And he was saying that he was about to be traveling. And I was saying I have to turn in this album. So I didn't think we were going to have a lot of time to talk or to vibe. So he had said, you know what, if I'm feeling it, I'll do it as soon as I get there. I'll do it on the spot. So he was like, you know what, let me take it with me. So I figured that meant that he wasn't feeling it and he wasn't going to do it. So I was just like, okay. And then 2 days later, I was like, what the hell? Because I felt like it was I had sat down on the couch with a therapist, and then they put everything in the song, and I kind of felt like a little bit violated, like what? But you know,
but it works.
All right, beautiful,
it works. It's fire.
So dope, and I'm so appreciative of him, and also his aura,
Mad positive, right? Light,
so
light.
Oh, so good, so good. Like leaves back a good aura. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dope. And he never seemed to me, he never struck me as a person that I would ever have like a conversation with. Far less a whole song with that I love on my album. But here we are. After I played him that song, I played him Fuck the Club Up. I was like, yo, I don't like playing my music, but I'll let you hear another song, right? So I played him that. And when that second verse came in, his reaction is why that song is so high up. Because Drake had originally loved that song while he was working.
My bad, y'all. That don't the recording stopped, so we about to finish it up right here. Here we go.
Struck me as so dope was that he couldn't articulate. He was just like, I never heard that before. Like, I never, like, but that's what made me go, oh, this is something that I should just leave the fuck alone. And you know what I said to him? I said, yeah, I like this song. I know I bodied the verse and I know the beat is hard and fuck and da da da. And he was like, yeah, I was like, but I don't like the chorus. I was like, because like you wouldn't be able to play it on radio. He was like, who cares? He was like, man, fuck the radio. And I was like, you're right. Fuck the radio.
That's how all the dope shit is made.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then doing me. Why the fuck this is not something I'm putting out to be as a single. This is something as a part of a body of work, and I didn't even want to put out singles. I purposely don't have videos out because I want y'all to listen to the music.
Nikki, you obviously have been through a lot that we've witnessed in the game, right?
And there it is. Everybody's saying that she don't have no videos and shit out. And there it is.
And now that you are top of the food chain in the game, there's this critique of Nikki that's like, how come she's always picking on people? How come she don't just embrace it? How come she's always in some shit?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, Ebro.
Yes.
If you go there, I'm gonna go there. So I'm not in the mood.
Well, no, what's your response to those people who have that critique?
Where are they? Are they in here?
No, they're on the internet.
Well, then let's
These are
talk.
internet.
Call them and let's talk. I'll talk to them personally. I don't talk to the internet. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Cowgirl. Now, you've made some pop records in the past.
Oh my God! What is it with this word? Do you tell men that they've made pop records?
Absolutely.
Who? What's the last man you told we've made pop records?
Drake.
When?
Don't play with me. I'll be honest. This record is phenomenal. Some records are meant to be mainstream and pop.
Yes, okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love that song, Cowgirl. Featuring Lourdes.
Who's Lourdes? I'm not familiar.
Lourdes is another dope addition to the Heavy On It family.
So this label is brolic.
Oh wow.
Oh, we heavy on it. Very heavy on it. Everywhere we heavy on it.
Barbie Dangerous, you do something that I really want people to study. Yes, you come in with the big flow. Cool. But then you add a different pocket, a different cadence while still. So I think that is something that I don't think a lot of rappers really study out here in the game. They might study some auto tuning or some punchline bars, but they don't study the percussive kind of pockets. Like you almost rap like you're an instrument as well, and then you change inflections, and you don't stay in one space too long because you understand that people might get bored with that, so you're switching it up because you can carry that through a song and keep people tuned in as you understand that. Was that something you picked up? Was that a gem that was given to you in the recording process somewhere along the lines?
I think the other thing people forget about me a lot is I am a trained actress. So that is what I believed I would be doing. My acting obviously carries over into any and everything I do, the training. You know what I'm saying? Because I never forget one time, I was talking to this man,
Boy, she be
And
going
it was
into
years ago. I had just
La
moved
La
to California,
Land.
and he said to me, we were talking about Katy Perry's album Teenage Dream, and he was like, you know what it is, Katy Perry? It's like when she's singing, it's like, she's acting out the song with her voice. Like it's so, like it's so animated and it's so like, and I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I never thought about that, blah, blah, blah. But I went home and I listened to see where he was listening from, what space, what perspective. And I realized that like one person could say one thing, the same person could say those same 16 words. And it's something that everyone wants to say, wants to repeat. Let me tell you this. I don't know if you'll understand how it correlates, but I hope you do. I was in the studio writing Fuck the Club Up, right? And I'd already had the first verse. And the second verse, I'm just like pacing back and forth, like, what should I say? What should I say? Da, da, da. And I'm overthinking it because I'm thinking like it gotta be so like, hard, and I need a bar, and I need this and that. And I need to have this particular voice because it's such a hard beat. And then jokingly, I said to my friend, like, you know what? It's so crazy. I know like back in the days, like what I would have said on this. You know what I'm saying? And I just being funny, jokingly, not even really thinking that I was about to leave that line there. Jokingly, I was like, yeah, because I don't be really saying raunchy stuff like that though. And then when the beat hit, I was like, hey, heels on my don't that's on my cut me Bedmans when I ride the dicky. And that line, I said, I stopped myself, critiqued myself, and said, yeah, because I don't be saying, I wouldn't say that now. I would have said that back then, but I wouldn't say that now. I like cop me vitamins when I ride the diggy. Number one is pronounced Vetmon, and we know that, right? But we gonna call it vitamins because we ghetto. But and people think I'm saying cop me vitamins when I ride the dicky. I said no, I'm talking about vitamins, the clothes. But when I tap back into that person, she told me exactly what to do to that. And that's the thing that everybody's reacting to. It's not a fucking crazy bar.
It's the personality.
Yes, it's the acting.
Yes.
It's the high heels because now you can envision this. And now, not only envision, you want to repeat it. You want to be it. You want to be in the mirror and saying, hi. You want to do a video wearing your hair. That's what we do. Our culture. We influence the world. Everybody wants to be like us. They want to look like us. They want to talk like us. They want to act like us. So what that does, it says it's a movie. It's like if you're watching a movie and all of a sudden that girl walked on the scene, you would sit up because you just finished hearing fuck the club up, fuck the club. So you're not expecting no high heels on my itty, high and that's on my tipsy. You're not expecting that, and it's different. It's fun.
It's interesting. It's entertaining.
It's
captivating
authentic too.
Yeah.
Like it's like, but it also has to be authentic, like to who you are. Everybody has that, but their version of it. And some people don't need to do that to paint the picture, like what J. Cole just did. He painted the picture, a complete portrait, and really didn't change in functions. Almost was like just a conversation, like just a regular conversation. But you heard and understood every word. And it's painting a picture. It's so vivid.
Do you think people know how much you love other rappers? Do you think you get a bad rap, like you don't like other rappers? Because I know you like.
I don't know. I have so many rappers that I really, really, really care about as human beings too, outside of rap. And yes, tons of rappers. Well, I'm a fan of rap. That's why I'm a rapper. So yes, I'm a fan of a lot of people, a lot of artists, female rappers, male rappers, and I have actual friendships with some female rappers. And it's so fucked up that like because I play that bad guy role and I love it so much. But I always say like when I'm saying stuff, I'm not talking about the girls that I fuck with. because and I know that they know that because they know me. Like if you know me, you know that. You know what I'm saying? Like so people that feel hit dog, gonna holler, right? Is that the right one?
That's
Okay.
it.
There's so many girls and male rappers that I genuinely care about as human beings and artists. I love the culture. Most of the times when I'm like being sarcastic, people think I'm serious.
You
You
do be
know,
serious.
again because they don't know.
Yeah, enough to know.
But you can't go around explaining every day. So you know what? If they misunderstand, they misunderstand. They'll catch up later. But as long as my fans like the music, that's all I care about.
Nikki, it was a pleasure sitting with you today.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for giving so much of your time too.
Thank you for
All
having me.
right.
And we're gonna expect to see you like, because when you're outside working, you're outside working.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be seeing a lot of you. Hopefully, the tour. Are we gonna get videos to the album at some point?
Yes.
Yes. Will we get a video to the forward from Trinity for all the Caribbean massive?
I would love to. I
Yes.
knew you was gonna rock with that too.
Of
I
course,
know,
you know
like I
You
know
know
New
that.
York gonna always get it. Yeah, I would love to.
At multiple points in the album, I forget the song, but you talk about moving to America. I started as being an immigrant here, starting from the bottom, working your way up. At multiple points in the album, you remind people like, "Yo, I got here from zero."
Right.
From zero.
Yes, because I think a lot of, especially like a lot of new artists, I think they think that one day I just woke up and I was like a rich person that was saying I was I was the queen of rap and just woke. It's so bizarre. But
people only know what they know and don't do research. You know the world we live in.
Yeah, it's okay. But little by little, you work and you continue to work and eventually if they like what you're doing, they'll research it and learn about you and work with you.
Nicki Minaj, go get that Pink Friday too. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you, brother. Love you.
All right, y'all. That concludes this video. And I do some more. I just be busy working.